Hey guys, Funkymusic here. Oh my goodness, my Twitch chat is open. It's recording the Twitch chat. No. Well, whatever. See if we can make it a little bit. Let's fix this real quick while we're here. All right. So, I get a lot of questions recently in the game as far as tips and tricks that you can do for resto druids. And this is no knock against everyone on the server, but I see a lot of resto druids who just, I've seen some that are okay, I've seen some that are good, but they're just not elite. And I've kind of gone over this before in my other videos. If you really want to be elite at this game, you kind of have to just practice. I cannot stress that enough. Practice. When I first started playing Resto Druid back in retail, the first thing I did was I ran RDFs all the time. RDF, just crazy. And raided crazy, like stupid raids, just so I could learn and understand the class. Just there's a lot of that goes into it. So, some of the tips and tricks that I use that I really haven't discussed before with a lot of people, some of the things that I do that I don't see a lot of other healers doing. So let's go over that real quick. First thing I want to talk about is Clearcasting procs. Now let's go ahead and go to the abilities and we'll go to balance, blah, 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 blah. Or is it, whatever. It's in talents. Your Omen of Clarity. Each of the druid's damage, healing, and spell effects, auto attacks have a chance to cause blah, 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 blah. Basically, it makes your next cast free, costs no mana. So, now let's go to the talents, or not the talents, the spellbook. Okay, so the reason why this is so important for healing is Life Bloom. Life Bloom, let's see, when Life Bloom completes its duration or dispel, the target instantly heals themselves for 766 mana and the druid regains half the cost of the spell. So that's 782 mana to cast this one time, and you get half of it back at the end. So really, it's what, 350, it's like 380, whatever it comes out to, I don't know. I'm not doing it right now. So anyways, you get half of that mana back. Basically, you get about 400 mana back. And this is important. Why? Well, and why does that matter with Clearcasting? Well, it matters with Clearcasting because when I cast, let's see if we can get a Clearcasting proc here. There we go. And I use Life Bloom on that Clearcasting proc. That Clearcasting proc means that I get a free cast. So I get to cast Life Bloom for free. It means I also get the mana return back for free. Now, a lot of druids I see running a lot of more spirit than they need to be running. This is preposterous. There's no reason why you should be running. I see, like, look at my, let's just, for instance, let's go to spelled base stats. And let's go to spirit. My spirit is only 1419, and that's with just self-buff. Let's just go ahead and take the self-buff off, just to show you how much I don't have non-buffed. So I'm at 1359 non-buffed spirit, okay? And that's just from gear. I mean, you need a certain amount of spirit, I would say, to have some decent regen, but anything that you really don't need to have on your gear, you really shouldn't get. So you don't see me gemming for any spirit. You'll never see me going, we'll say, like, for instance, my, where is it? My feet, for instance. Oh, Funky, there's no spirit on your boots. I know that. Actually, it's more spell power on my feet than it would be anything else. You just don't need spirit every single place on your gear. And I see a lot of people gemming for it. It's just ridiculous. And people, I find myself going and that's why I use, as you can tell, my mace doesn't have any spirit on it as well. So people were like, well, that's why I use the arches, the staff off of Lich King. No, you're not gonna go unless you suck. Use Life Bloom. Use it. Every Clearcasting proc that you get, I would imagine that you guys have some kind of thing to track this. This is why I would suggest event alert. I think it's options. Yes, event alert. You need to get this add-on. This is great. It'll show up whenever I have Clearcasting procs. Let's see if we can get one again. This might take a minute to actually get one. There we go. Clearcasting. It shows up right there in my front of my face. That way, hey, I know I've Clearcasting. Okay, let's cast Life Bloom. Right? It's easy. Easy. So that's one tip and one trick I can give you guys. Another one is you're going to want to have some kind of grid. You want to have something set up like this. You almost have to. I don't know how anyone can heal without having a grid. It's just impossible without Healbot, without something. Personally, I don't like grid, I don't like Healbot, I don't like Voodoo. I know a lot of guys who like Voodoo and Healbot, they swear by them, and I'm not a big fan of either. Just because as a druid, I need to be able to see all my hots. I want to see my timers. The only thing I don't need to see a timer on really is Wild Growth, because as soon as it's coming off cooldown, I know it's 6 seconds. It's not something that I really want to track. I can track it on my bar here. I could track it on my Forte Exorcist bar, which is right above my right below my cast bar. Let's do this. Right below my cast bar here, you'll see a bar that says 0, 1, 10, 30, 60. That's my Forte Exorcist bar. You're going to be able to track everything on there as far as Wild Growth goes, because it's always coming off cooldown in 6 seconds. What you're not going to be able to track on there is your actual healing and on the other targets, on what your hots are doing. So that's why it's important to have something like Grid 2 that can track the tick on Life Bloom, that can track the timer on Wild Growth, or Regrowth, and Rejuve. I know a lot of guys who you can have these little boxes blink. Like for instance, when I cast Wild Growth, you'll see that the green box is lit up now in Grid. And then when it is done, it's off. There, it's gone. Very important to have something like that to track where your Wild Growth is hitting, but a lot of guys will track their Rejuve that way. I'd rather actually see the timers, so I know when to refresh, what's going on, how long I have, if I have time to Swift Mend or not. A lot of guys have those blinking lights, those little boxes that blink when it's getting close to getting off cooldown. I don't like that. I'd rather have the timers. That's why I love Grid 2. I think it's a great add-on. You can find that in my videos, my packaged UI. Great add-on to have. A lot of people don't understand that, and I'll show you guys. I'll actually bring this up and show you guys a picture of just how crazy some of these applicants can be with their photos of this is what I'm talking about. If I can pull it up for you guys, I'm gonna try here. We might have to actually save this image real quick. But yeah, there's one of the tricks that you can have to do something like that, or to watch your add-ons is very important. Just watching them is very, very, very important. Cannot stress that enough. You have to be able to watch your add-ons, or there's almost no point to healing if you're not gonna pay attention. All right, now here is a, I shit you not, here's a real picture. Let me blow it up so you guys can see it. This guy is using, and I'll try not to give out his name, but I think it's already in the picture. But here's an example of why this guy didn't get invited to Aurora. This guy is clearly a clicker. If I had to click on all that shit, and I only can see this far, and I've got all this shit on either side of me, no. You're not going to be able to see when something's coming to hit you. You're not going to be able to see a raging. You look at this guy. He's only got a window this far, like this, to see. No, don't be like that. That's a clicker app. You don't want to be like that and have, that's way too much crap. Way too much. And he doesn't have, look at that. That's just ridiculous. How does he nature swiftness healing touch somebody? That is the most ridiculous looking, God, that thing is awful. But anyways, no, do not do that. Some other helpful hints. I know I have a video out already about this. Very important to have this. Let's go to macros. Power shift. This macro, this cast stance macro, is very, very important. And people are like, well, it's only for PvP, and before, and I'm not here to brag or boast, but I don't know how druids ever did this. And this is, again, just goes to show that, like, people on the server are just, sometimes they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They don't know what they're doing, and they have no clue. Until I came here, I never saw a macro for power shift whatsoever. I never saw a macro for the druid tree power shift. It did not exist in any guide. I think it only exists still in my guide. This, and you'll see it, is actually, I have it bound to my 6 key on my Naga. This macro is so important and so powerful that you cannot, even in PvE, you cannot ignore this. When there are frost bolts, when there's a boss that slows you, when there's anything in game that can slow you down and you need to get out of something fast, that power shift macro instantly puts you in and out of form. And it is so overpowered and so needed in so many fights that there's no reason not to have it. Not to have it bound, you need to have this thing bound and use it often. You will find yourself using it a hell of a lot more than what you think. My grid tracks when I am slowed. If I'm hit with a frostbolt, if I'm thorned, if I'm rooted, anything of that nature, it tracks it. That way I know, hey, I'm frozen, or hey, I'm slowed. Hey, I gotta hit, the power shift macro to get out of it. So very important to have. Every healer should have that. That could be the life or death situation. If you have a guy like 10 feet away from you and you need to get out of form real quick, you need to shapeshift real quick to get to him, but you're slowed, and let's say you're slowed and you don't have a shapeshift macro that you're over here clicking. You got to click once and watch it go around, and then click again and watch. So you're wasted 2 GCDs just to get unslowed. This power shift macro is instant. You'll be boom there. Okay? That is a must. You have to have that as a resto druid. Have to. I don't know how anybody could do it without it. What are some other good things to know as a resto druid? Make sure you guys have everything bound. I see a lot of druids who don't bind everything. They think that they don't need abolish poison. They think that they don't need remove curse. They think they don't need tranquility. A lot of druids will do this. As you can tell, I'm not sure if this guy has it in his, but this guy has no tranquility. At least I don't see anywhere oh, there it is, but it's got, I think he does, that's the one thing he does have macro is tranquility. I'm guessing that's for himself, which is fine. But make sure you have those things macroed. Macro, everything. Gotta have it. Just gotta have it macroed. As you can see, everything in mine has a number. F1 through F6 is all my forms. All these first block, this first little block you'll see here on the far left of my add-ons, or not my add-ons, my bartender here. The first set right there is all macro to the side here on my Naga. That's macroed 1 through 12 on my side of my Naga here. Okay, all those. The next set over is shift all of these buttons. And the third set over is alt of all of these buttons. So it's very important that you have all of these things bound. I mean, I've got stuff bound that people probably wouldn't even think to have. I mean, I've got thorns bound, entangling roots bound, cyclone bound. Nature's Grasp, another thing that I don't see a lot of people using. Nature's Grasp is needed. Hurricane, needed. I mean, a lot of this stuff is just needed. I know a lot of other things are macroed, mounts, and then just pots and flasks and all that stuff. Just very important that people have this stuff macroed. I mean, you can't do without it. What are some other big things for resto druids? I don't see a lot of people switching forms and stuff. It's good to go in bear form when you need the extra protection or the extra health. It's good for a lot of things. It's good to go in cat when you need to get away, cheetah. Just some really I don't know how to explain, just some good things to have in the back of your head. The main problem I see with a lot of druids is they go and get the Lich King staff. I understand that a lot of them do not have the coins to get the legendary mace, which is best in slot. Unfortunately, heroic trauma. I do not believe I have it on me. I think it's in my. No, here it is. Heroic trauma is not working. I've tested it. It's still, the proc rate is still wrong. If you see a druid with it, it should be, but only because he's looking for something better. That he just happened to get it. Either he didn't know, or if they say it works, they're full of crap. It doesn't work. The proc rate is broken. It's suffering from some long internal cooldown. This mace has no cooldown. The normal version of of trauma seems to be working correctly from what I'm told. I have not acquired one, so I do not know. I have not tested that for myself, so I can't say yay or nay on that, but from what everyone's telling me, the normal version works fine, but the heroic version is definitely bugged and broken. So I see a lot of people running around with, let's pull it up, this, if I can find Ice Crown Citadel. There we go, 25 heroic, and let's go to Lich King. They're running around using Arch's Greatstaff of whatever the hell name. The problem with this mace is that it offers, well, first of all, it doesn't offer the spell power that a one-hander does. The haste rating is also not there. If you're using two one-handers, it's just not there. If you add up two one-handers, you're going to have better haste, usually. I take that back. My haste rating is actually lower with these two. Right? Yeah, it's only like 100. Okay, so I lied. So the haste rating here is better. I think that's why a lot of people get it. They're trying to hit haste rating, and they see it's got spirit on it. And, yeah, is it good? Yes. Is it best in slot? No. Is it second best in slot? No. Is it third best in slot? No. This mace is probably your fourth best in slot weapon. It's not going to outdo Valinor. It's not going to outdo the Scepter off Lich King. The Royal Scepter is going to do more. It has more spell power. It has some decent haste with it. The spell power is 893 spell power alone, just on your main hand mace, whereas this spell power is 893. Well, that's not including your offhand, which is an additional 120 spell power almost. 118 spell power. So you're getting a bonus of 120 spell power by using an offhand weapon. Much more savvy to use an offhand weapon. And I'd even venture to bet that if normal trauma is working, I would even almost rather use that. Just for the simple fact that the proc is pretty powerful. You might sacrifice a little spell power in there, or maybe not. The gain won't be over 120 like it is with Legendary and whatnot, or in the Royal Scepter off Lich King. But yeah, I see a lot of people going for that, and I scratch my heads, and the only thing I can understand is if they only had 23 coins to donate, and they donated that. But I see a lot of these druids who full donate and donate the wrong thing, and they really shouldn't be donating for that whatsoever. If you don't want the Legendary, don't want to pay the cost, you want to be donating for Royal Scepter, without a doubt. It's just better all around. So that's another problem I see with Resto Druids. I think I mentioned before the Spirit. Don't gem Spirit. Another problem I see is people gemming for socket bonuses. No. Stop gemming for socket bonuses. Get them where you can. Obviously here in the neck. Blue socket. I don't need Spirit in this. I don't need Spirit. It's pointless. When you're at good gear, when you're at best in slot gear, you don't need, even before best in slot gear, you don't need the extra 18 spell power or the extra 18 or so spirit that you're going to get from here. Now, here's the thing. Well, Funky Spirit is spell power, and you hit the socket bonus, so you get plus 5 spell power. It still will not outdo a 23 spell power gem. Okay? You're still going to get more spell power from a 23 spell power gem. If you do the math, you're going to get more spell power. Because, let's go ahead and go to talents. I will show you right now why. You go to your improved tree of life. Increase your armor contribution from blah, 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 blah. Increase your healing spell power by 15% of your spirit while in tree of life form. Okay, so every 15, or all your spirit, 15% of that is converted into spell power, which is good. We want spell power. We like spirit a little bit because it does help regen our mana. However, let's go and see if we can find a gem that would be spell power and spirit. I believe it is green. I could be wrong. Oh boy, I do not remember if it's green. No, it's not orange. Hang on, hold on with me. It might be purple. I think it's purple. Glowing. No. Stamina. Spell pen. Spirit. Spell power. Spirit. Purified Dreadzone. So, you take 10 spirit and 12 spell power. Okay. That 10 spirit, 15% of that 10 is not going to equal the power that you're going to get of a 23 spell power gem. Even with, that's what, 1.5. So 10 spirit is what, 1.5 spell power? So if you have if I'm calculating it right? I don't know, I guess. 15% of 10, 1.5, something like that. And so let's add 1.5 onto 12. That gives you 13.5 spell power. But Funky, I hit the pocket bonus. Good for you. That's only 18.5 spell power now. So you're giving up 4.5 spell power when you gem for that socket bonus. And at this point, I don't need 10 spirit. 10 spirit is not going to help me at all. It's really not. I would rather have the spell power gain. So that's something important to think about. Knowing when to proc your GTS. There's one for you. For you guys who do use GTS. I know there are other options out there. You can use Purified Lunar Dust. Some of you guys like Solace of the Defeated. Just to throw those two out right now to you guys, while they do regen mana, Solace and what did I say they were? Purified Lunar Dust, I believe, is the other one. Both of those generate MP5. Druids don't scale well with MP5. They haven't. They're still broke in that area. MP5 has never scaled correctly here on Molten as it should with Druids at all. So even if it was working, it still wouldn't be that good. But it's even worse right now. So you kind of want to avoid those things. They're more of like a PvP kind of thing. Unless you're at lower gear, really low gear, and you need to have a mana boost, I would suggest those two. Other than that, they are much lower spell power than everything else you're going to find beyond, or in the ICC or beyond. So the Glowing Twilight Scale, let's go over the good things about it. It's got the highest amount of spell power of any trinket for us in-game. It has the use. Now here's where we kind of get to the bad part. Why people don't want to use this, or they shy away from it. For the next 15 seconds, each time your direct healing spells heal a target, you cause the target of you healed to heal themselves and friends within 10 yards for 402 for 6 seconds. Each second for 6 seconds. So what this does actually acts like a trauma proc. The bad part is it requires direct healing, something that druids are not using a whole lot of. We are instant casts. Okay, so you really have to be careful on when you use this thing. I tend to use it in heroism. When heroism's out, I'm throwing GTS up. When we're going into Ruby Sanctum, and I need to get my group up really quick, I'm proccing GTS and Tranquility. Tranquility will proc Glowing Twilight Scale because it is considered a direct heal. Even though it is a channeled heal, it is still considered a direct heal. So, times when you should use it: heroism, phase transitions, when you know a lot of healing is going to need to be done. Because not only does that heal, if you use it in conjunction with Tranquility, not only does it heal your group, but it will also heal everyone around those players as well. So it's a really, really strong heal in conjunction with tranquility. Now, there's been times where I haven't used it with tranquility, or I'll let it proc a little bit with tranquility. I'll let tranquility go off 1 or 2 times, and then I'll switch to direct healing and let it proc some more. But when it is proc, you kind of want to use all the direct healing that you can to get the most out of that trinket. But very situational. If you guys have watched any of my streams, you'll see when I usually proc it. Like I said, before, as soon as we start phase 2 in Ruby Sanctum, Lich King on the ledge phases, just when you have really, really big incoming chunks of damage and you can get a whole bunch of instant casts off or heroisms out, it's a really good time to use it then. Other than that, guys, I think that's about it that I really wanted to cover today. Just some tips and some tricks that I use. Other than that, I want to stress it again, keybinds. Keybinds are the difference between making you a good player and a total crap player. And trust me, this is coming from a guy who used to click for years in World of Warcraft, back in vanilla. As soon as I switched to keybinding at TBC, it just opened up the floodgates for it unlocks a whole bunch of potential. So anyone who clicks or says it's just as fast, the reaction time will never be as fast. Moving your mouse cursor down here to click things and watching what you're doing will never be as quick as having your everything keybound. A keybind player will always be faster, unless they're a full moron, don't know what they're doing. But anybody who's skilled, I don't care if you're the most skilled clicker of all time, you will not stand up to me and get more healing out than I will as a non-clicker. As a keybinder, I will always win. It's just how things work. Sorry, I just have a better reaction time. I'll be able to hit stuff as soon as they're coming off globals, and it makes you a better player. So I cannot stress that enough. I see so many people that are not keybound, and you have to bind all your keys to some kind of action. For instance, I use a G18 or a G510 keyboard with 18 G keys on it. All those G keys are keybound to something in the game. Like I said before, my Naga has 3 set. I've got 12, 24, almost 36 different keybinds set on my Naga alone, and that's not including my heals. As you can see here, I use a thing called click to really help me with my keybinds as well. There's 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44 keybinds plus another 18. So I have 60 some keybinds that I use in this game. And you don't have to have that many. I could probably do away with everything. If I had to go bare bones, just give me these right here, and I could work out the rest. But just really important to have your stuff keybound, guys. I cannot stress that enough. And yeah, I think that's all the tips and tricks I got for right now. So thanks for watching the video, and hope to see you in game and in the stream.